Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of From Zero to Hero. I'll tell you where we left off last time, then we'll just pick up from there. So, last time, the last dungeon I had done was the Cockroach dungeon, of course. Then we went and obtained our beautiful, beautiful silver Dofus, which actually kind of saves us during the dungeons that I'm going to be showing you in this episode a few times. I think it saved us quite a few times. But yeah, so we got the silver Dofus. We finished the Cockroach dungeon. We did it full achievements. Now, all the dungeons that I'm doing full achievements, no exceptions. Any dungeon I do full achievements. Maybe later in the end game dungeons that are more difficult, I'll do the same dungeon, but I'll run it twice so I can get separate achievements on separate runs. But for now, while the dungeons are not too insanely difficult, although they are pretty difficult, I'll be honest. Like, for my level, if I'm doing full achievements, they can get really difficult. Most of the dungeons were really close, like very clutch. So they're not that easy, but we did the Kickroach full achievements, and that gave me 100 Kickroach legs, which I was able to put in market, and those sell for 100,000 commas, which 100,000 commas isn't crazy amount, but at low level, with the prices of low level gear and resources, it's quite a lot. I use those 100,000 commas to gear my rogue with a new intelligence set, which I'll talk about in a second, and I started a guild. So the guild is going to be called Zero to Hero. It's just for my two characters, but I just wanted to have it there because I like the emblem, I like having the name, I like having the two characters in the same guild and such. I just think it's interesting. So I got that guild going for me, which is nice. And then, so I had my rogue geared in an intelligence set. So it was like a Scarleaf slash Blob set. But then I looked around and I'm like, you know what? At low level, like the purpose of my rogue is to have damage, right? And yes, intelligence rogue hits harder because the bomb's base damage is greater, sorry. But the thing is, like, agility gear at low level is just far superior to anything else. Like, in terms of damage, if you think about it, like Mad Tofu Cloak plus Toadi plus Carnivorous Staff, those three items alone give you like a total of like 250 agility. Whereas the whole set I was wearing, the whole intelligence set, gave me about 350 intelligence, right? While those three items alone in the agility section gave me already 250. Anyways, so I decided to switch to agility just for now. Switch to my rogue to agility. Although you'll see later, there's quite an interesting thing that happens for the boost dash dungeon. So I switched my rogue to agility. My panda, I keep him chance. I buy them a little bit of gear. And we're just going to go and start some dungeons. Let me talk you through what I did for the dungeons. Here we go. So the first dungeon up was the Boost Dash dungeon. This dungeon was interesting. It had a few particularities that I'll have to tell you about. So the first thing that you'll notice is that actually I switched my character's elements. So the Boost Dash's resistance, I think, is like 85% agility. And the main damager in my team is supposed to be my rogue, because that's just how the setup works. The panda helps put the mobs in the bomb line for the rogue. But the boss has 85% agility resistance, so there's no way I was going to beat him if my rogue was the agility character, because my panda simply does not deal enough damage as a chance panda. So what I had to do was switch the gear. So I just traded them, gave the gear in between. One thing you'll notice, though, is that my characters actually have... So I just want to give this like a little gift, or not a giveaway. It's just something that you guys might not know about that I want to help make you guys aware about. You'll notice if you look at the hats that my characters are wearing, so those hats are like cosmetic hats that you can get for free. Excuse me, you can get for free just using a code. So the code is MARCTAPAGE. I'll put it on screen. I'll put it in the description. So this code will give you, if you put it in the like rewards and gift section in Dofus, it'll help you get this hat for free. And if you guys didn't know that, now you can. So anyways, my character switched elements, and we're just working through Boost Dash here. The issue with him is that every time you kill a mob, he'll summon it again. And he has those little things that like remove all of your MP. The achievements for the Boost Dash dungeon are last, which is very annoying. Last, and then there was another one which I think is Hermit, like not finishing in next to your ally. Hermit's not a big deal, it's like whatever, but the issue is last, and on top of all that, he's unmovable. So he's unmovable, which means that I can't pick him up and throw him into the bombs. So I can't pick him up, throw him into the bombs, all that stuff. Like, he's really annoying. But, you know, with last and with my bombs and being chance and stuff, it ends up working, and that's it for that one. Next up, we have the Chafer dungeon. So the achievements here on the Chafer dungeon are just going to be Nomad, and first. So I have to kill him first, I have to use all my MP every turn. Thankfully I was able to bring my characters back to their intended elements, which is agility on my rogue and chance on my panda. And we're just going to go ahead through this dungeon. I didn't have the initiative, so they ended up hitting me before I could even start the fight, which is unfortunate. But we're just going through it here. The Draugr Chafers are really annoying because they put a poison on you, where if you use MP, you take damage based on how many MP you used, right? And since I need to use all my MP every turn because of Nomad, that kind of doesn't go so well. I keep taking a lot of damage. I don't have that much HP yet. But thankfully, I can actually move the Chafer there. I tried to open up my bombs to set it up for the Panda to throw the guy in, but then that Draugr Chafer pushed my bomb and closed the bomb line. So instead, we ended up here. So now he's near my rogue, but he ends up going to the exact wrong place that allows me to kill him. Look, so I'm trying to figure out where he is. So I determined that he's nowhere there because since he didn't move, he must have been in one of the cells that couldn't be moved, which meant that he was on the cell that was next to the bomb because he couldn't be pushed towards the bomb. So I'm careful to do first here. I just start throwing them in, and they just start dying. We were very close here, but thankfully, once my bomb line was set up, it wasn't too difficult because now I can just pick them up and throw them in, which is fairly easy. So my panda does the work. You make sure to use all my MP. Boom, boom, boom. He dead. Here we go for the Quaqua dungeon. The Quaqua dungeon was actually the most complicated dungeon for me just because there were so many things to think about. The first thing is the achievements. So there's the two achievements that I have to do are Clean Hands and Zombie. So Zombie means I can only use 1 MP per turn, and Clean Hands means I can't kill the mobs without basically either a summon or in my bomb line, which is fine, except, for example, the Wind Quack has 100% agility resistance, so I can't kill him in my bomb line. So the only other way I can kill him is using a Chafer, because the Chafer hits with strength, and he has like negative strength resistance, so it kind of works out. On top of all that, the Quaqua itself has 75% resistance in everything except one element that randomly gets chosen for him to only have 25%. So he has 75 everywhere except one random element, he has 25. So I had to keep waiting I had to like keep restarting the fight until it was agility. So that was a little bit annoying, made the fight more complicated. Other than that, the fight seemed okay. The zombie part was a little bit complicated just because I'd get locked and stuff. And on top of that, with zombie, it means that I can't really use my combo as effectively as I'd like because my combo is very mobility based, right? Like I have to be able to run to someone with my panda, pick him up, run back to my bombs, throw him in, all that good stuff. But I couldn't, obviously. So although I needed him to be on the in terms of resistances, I needed the Quaqua to have 25% agility resistance. It also puts him in like the agility state. So the quacks that he summons are the agility ones, which means that although he has less agility resistance, all the quacks that he summons will have 100% agility resistance. Here I got so annoyed because I could have killed him if that quack didn't come and end his turn in front of him. So instead I had to just, let go of another turn, keep going here. I just pick up a guy so I can keep moving. And now, soon enough, boom, they push it in perfect place for me to actually kill. I was in such disbelief that they ended up pushing him in this direction because they put it perfectly for me to be able to one-shot him just like that. So that worked out very nicely. 25% resistance, we did like 1.4k damage. I'm very happy with that. Now my rogue's gonna die and my panda's gonna have to finish it, which is unfortunate that my rogue dies because he's the one who has the crit Chafer, but I couldn't do anything about it. We hit a little bit here, and now I'm just dependent on my fucking Chafer to actually finish the fight. So I do what I can here. I throw him and I throw my Chafer so that he doesn't think to hit me, and he does the job. So I did a few more dungeons and I ended up with the following resources. You can see on screen about 350,000 commas worth. So 350,000 commas worth plus all the commas from the achievement, plus all the commas from the quest, gave me quite a solid base of commas to go and start doing some crushing. Obviously, I need commas for my team to like progress them in terms of gear and such. And if you guys follow the channel, you know crushing is just what I do. It's just what I'm good at making commas with, and it's my favorite, right? So I've been using those resources and those commas. So what I do is instead of selling the resources and then waiting to get those commas and then crushing and then using those commas to buy resources, to craft gear, to crush, to sell runes again, I just skip a bunch of steps, and instead of doing that whole cycle, I just use the resources from the dungeons. I look through the associated recipes and I craft things that are related to those gear. That way I can just use up the resources I have to make gear for crushing. I'll throw up some of the crushing screenshots. We did pretty well. I focus on vitality runes because I feel like people don't usually ignore those. Like if an item doesn't have anything interesting except vitality and like a couple things, most people will just leave the item alone, but like I decided to benefit from that. I also crushed like a quack set, that sort of thing. So it set us up nicely for next episode. We're gonna be balling next episode, new gear, all that stuff. And with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like and subscribe and comment and all that good stuff. And I hope to see you next time for the next update. And have a good day. Ramadan Kareem. Bye.